Hi, my name's Kate, and I am a high school math teacher in the middle of my 17th year of teaching. So today I thought that I would talk to you guys about how I organize the daily lessons that I do with my students. So most of my classes, I actually don't have textbooks, so all the resources that I have are either resources that I've found or bought off of Teachers Pay Teachers or that I've created myself. And so I want to show you guys how I keep those things organized. So the way that I organize these, I have a binder system. So the first binder that I have is, I have this big, this looks like about a 1.5 inch binder that I use, and this houses all of the resources for first semester of pre-calc. I have similar one for second semester pre-calc and for all the other classes that I teach. So I have them for geometry, I have them for algebra 2 when I teach that, and I also have them for quantitative reasoning, well, starting that one. So I've got this, and inside this binder, I still need to label some of these, so, you know, it's a work in progress, but I know where they are. So I just have dividers, so I have the extra long dividers because so much of my stuff's in page protectors, and the regular dividers get covered up by page protectors, so I made sure that I found the extra long dividers that could be seen through page protectors. And then I just have each of my units, so here is my unit 0A, that's in our book that we used to use that was called Chapter P. And so I just have each of the units in here, and all the information that I have in here, I'm gonna stand up a little bit, is just everything. So I've got a copy of the notes that I would do with my students. I've got a copy of the homework. So we do use the book, the old book that we have. We don't actually check them out to the students, but we use that for homework sometimes. So I'll put a digital copy online. But I just have a copy of everything in there. So again, I have a copy of the notes. I have a copy of, I always did the homework, so I know what the homework is. If I have task cards, I will put a copy in here just so I remember what they're doing. I'll have an answer to the task cards in here so that I have those, another set of task cards that I have, just so that I have everything right here. Now, as you can see, like, this was a little bit difficult even for me to pick up. So I keep the entire semester in here, but when I'm teaching the specific unit, I put it in just a small 1-inch binder here. So here's my pre-calc one, label it pre-calc. I do have the rest of those sitting on the shelves just right over here, color-coded. And this is where I keep my current units information in. So I just finished one of my pre-calc units. So I'm gonna flip the camera around real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys, this is what I do at the end of a unit when I'm getting ready to start a new unit. I take everything out, put it back in the folder, the binder, and then I put the new stuff in. So we're gonna swap that out real quick, and then I'll show you guys what I have in here. Now that I've got everything swapped over, just gonna show you guys real quick. So here is, this was for our dual credit. We do Ivy Tech in Indiana. So this is some information, and I'll make notes. You know, it'd be great to have note sheets for some of the things so that the students don't have to draw. And then, you know, any of my master copies. So I know I keep everything digital, but I still put a nice master copy in here because 17 years of teaching has taught me that you can very rarely rely on all of your technology to work well. The old building that I was at, still in the same school, we just had to move buildings. There were so many times where we couldn't print from our computers, so we were able to use our Rizzo machine. So if you know what that is, it's like an old school machine. So we could use our Rizzo machine, but you couldn't print from your computer, so you were great if you had paper copies. So I have just been, it's been ingrained in me to keep paper copies of everything so that in case something goes wrong, I can still whip this out and make copies of this. And then I have the answer key of that, and then it just keeps going. so there's the homework answers. Again, the first year I taught this, I went through and did all of the homework just so I knew exactly what they were doing. And I just have that throughout. Got quizzes as well in here and just everything. And I absolutely love this system because it makes it super easy for me when I'm teaching. I can just grab this binder, I bring it up to my podium, and I can just have it open as we're going through things. And it's small enough that if there are things in here, like when I'm working on my quantitative reasoning class, it's easy to throw this binder in my backpack and my bag and bring it home with me, where I'm not taking this big thing home. And it makes it pretty lightweight, especially, there's not a ton of papers in here, so it doesn't get that full, it doesn't get that heavy. So let me just show you guys my geometry binder real quick. So geometry binder, got it labeled. It's really the same thing. So we've got our standards here, our priority standards by semester, and kind of our units by design. And then again, the same thing. I've got hard copy of the notes, and I've got a filled out copy of the notes, and I do that for all of the classwork, all of the homework, everything that I use. And I try to keep this current. So what I've been finding with geometry, there are units that I really like, there are lessons that I really like, and there are units and lessons that I don't. So as I go through geometry, if there's something that I was using that I created something new that I like better, I have a separate binder. Let me grab that. So this binder is for my old stuff for geometry, and so I have this broken down, not super neatly, but just into units. So unit 1, so here's all the old stuff that I used to use in geometry, and most of it still is in page protectors. Again, just, that's how I'm used to keeping it. And some of it I'm not even sure I have a digital copy, to be completely honest. But this is all stuff that I've used in the past, but I don't do anymore. So here we were talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. That's not something that we talk about as much in geometry right now. We've really cut down on what we're teaching in geometry to hopefully get our kids to pass. So don't use that anymore. So I have copies of the old stuff in here, and I do like to keep this because as I am planning my unit, I will look through what I did last year, plus I'll pull this out and look through all of the old stuff that I've pulled out over the years and haven't used to decide, ooh, actually that works really well with what we're doing, I'd like to add that back in. Or, oh, we're going to add this standard. I know Indiana is changing their standards, or has just changed at least most of the standards in some form. So we need to go back through and unpack those up, unwrap those standards, and look at our priority standards again. And if I need to add things back, I have all of these resources that I can at least use and start from and then go from there. So I've found this binder system to be extremely helpful for me to keep things organized. I do know that other people will have like one big binder like this where they keep the units for all the classes that they're teaching. So I do know that that's a thing. I just find that this is so much heavier than just grabbing this, and it's color-coded for me, so that helps my brain. Everything that I do in geometry is blue, my pre-calc is green, and my quantitative reasoning is orange. So that's my method. I hope you guys have found this helpful. I will link the dividers that I use in the description below if this is something that you're interested in. If you use a different system that you really like, I would love to know what it is. Let's start conversations below. So otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow along more with my high school teaching journey, please subscribe, and I will catch y'all later. Bye.